Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. I'm currently reading Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nyan. This is an East Asian fantasy that deals with sexual assault, as our main character Lei is essentially kidnapped and forced into service as one of the Demon King's concubines. I'm really enjoying this so far. I absolutely love the atmosphere of this, which, as you guys know, is the main reason that I read a lot of East Asian fantasy. I really love the writing style. The setting is absolutely beautiful, and I like how this seems to be quite a good critique on rape culture while still being a really intriguing fantasy read. So I'm on like page 230 of about 380 of this. However, if you watch my last week's vlog or my wrap up, you'll know that I'm going with like a daily page goal, and I have been sucking at reading for the last 3 days. So by my schedule, I should have finished this yesterday. Like, I don't read the same amount every day. Some days I read a lot and some days I don't read as much, so it's not like I'm beating myself up about it, but I'm in a mood to read a lot tonight, so I'm gonna see if I can get to the end of this. I've got this much left, so like it's totally doable, but whether I actually sit down and like focus on reading, because that's my main issue, like I'll just stop paying attention and start doing something else. But if I can, I'm going to try and finish this tonight, so I'll let you know how that goes. Today I went to the library and I collected a book that I've been in the queue for quite some time, and that is Empire of Sand by Tasha Sori. I don't know a lot about the story of this, but what I do know about it is that it is a Mughal Indian fantasy, that it's kind of own voices. The author is British, but she has Punjabi parents that I'm assuming are like North Indian people. Why did I struggle so much to say people then? So I haven't seen anybody review this, and I don't know anything about the story, but pretty much the setting is enough to hook me in, so I'm hoping to get to this soon. Because I've been in a queue for such a long time for this, I don't want to put it off and keep trying to renew it, because I think that there'll be somebody in the queue after me, or what will happen is what happens to me quite frequently. I'll put it off to renew it, and then somebody else will get in there and reserve it, and I won't have enough time to read it. So what I'm actually thinking about doing is I'm thinking about replacing the book that I selected for Bookopoly for the library book. I picked the Brandon Sanderson novellas, and I'm thinking of replacing those with this. And I've spoken to a few people about whether it would be okay for me to do that, and they think that it's alright, because essentially I'm not going to be able to read this book that I've been waiting months for if I don't do it. And also this is a longer book, like it's 300 pages longer than the one that I intended to read, so it's not like I'm doing it to make the challenge easier for myself. So we'll see if I actually do that. It depends how much I get read this month and whether I can squeeze it in anywhere. So my 3 goals for the week, if you watch last week's vlog, you'll know that I'm doing like 3 life goals to sort of hold myself accountable to the things I want to change in my life, and it worked out quite well for me last week. Literally just going to tell you what they are and then tell you if I've achieved them at the end of the week. So this week's 3 goals are to go to a spin class, which is carried over from last week. I think I'm going to go to one on Sunday. I have a plan. The second one is to plan every day, because I really love my happy planner. It's just sometimes I just don't plan, and it's like, oh, I'll do it later, and then I read instead, and then I don't want to spend like a good amount of time planning. And the third one is to walk my dog at least 3 times a week, because sometimes I only walk her once or twice. I want it to be more of a habit for her health as well as mine. I think that's all I have for you right now. I'm going to go and try and get some stuff in the Happy Place Cosmetics restock, even though I shouldn't because I don't need anything. I still have the first tub of shower whip that I got from Happy Place Cosmetics. I still have a Snow Fairy Lush like big shower gel bottle that I got for Christmas, and then I have the Happy Place Cosmetics shower whip that my boyfriend got me for Valentine's Day, but they're restocking Resting Bitch Face Whip and I want it so bad, so I'm gonna try and get some of that. Aside from that, I'm gonna make good on my goal to plan every day. I'm gonna get my planner out, and I think my plan for the evening, unless anyone texts me and says like, do you want to play Xbox, is I'm going to try and read about, let's see, I'm 230 pages in, so I have 150 pages to go. So I'm going to read 75 pages of this, providing nobody wants my attention. I'm going to do some work on organising my books into my spreadsheet, because I've done an unhaul, which you will see soon. But until I have all of my owned books into my spreadsheet, I can't move the ones in the stacks on the floor onto the shelves, even though I have space for them now. So I'm going to try and get all of my owned books into my spreadsheet so that I can put all of my new books onto my shelves. And then I'm going to come back and read 75 more pages. So if I do manage to finish that tonight, I will probably check in and let you know my rating and what I'm moving on to next. And if not, I'll check in with you tomorrow. So first of all, can we marvel at the daylight? It's daylight. It's an evening, it's after work, I'm filming in daylight. What is this madness? I'm so excited to not have to put my ring light up all the time now. So I should have updated you yesterday, but I was tired and I went to the gym and I had a shower and I watched Umbrella Academy. So I didn't fancy it, to be fair, because like I said, ring light, etc. effort. But I finished Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nyan. Ignore my ruby bookmark, it needs to go back on the string. And I gave it 4 stars overall. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the setting and the atmosphere. As you guys know, that's the thing that I enjoy the most about East Asian fantasies. I really, really loved the sapphic romance in this. I thought it was so full of chemistry and absolutely beautiful, and I really loved that. It does have a few pacing issues. There's a very large section of this book where not a lot is happening. I personally really love slow books, so I didn't necessarily mind. It's just thinking back on it, there was like a large section of this book where not a lot was going on. But the main reason that I deducted a star from this is that it follows a pretty typical plot structure that we see in YA of like the oppressed people rising up or trying to fight back against the governing body. It was enjoyable. I liked it. I like that trope. It just didn't blow me away. So 4 stars, really loved it, but I wasn't like completely overwhelmed and I'm not like madly in love with it, but it was still fucking amazing and I would recommend it. So then I moved on to my second Bookopoly book, which is Bonfire by Kristen Ritter. This is for the chance card that I pulled in my Bookopoly video. This is an adult thriller and I expected it to kind of be like a light fluffy-ish adult thriller. Can you have like fluffy thrillers? But I expected it to be kind of surface level, you know, like it's written by an actress and people have said it's good, so I did expect it to be good. It's just, this is a lot different than I expected. So this book follows a young woman who is returning to the town that she is from. She's an environmental lawyer and she essentially moved to Chicago as soon as she could. However, she is going back to this town because essentially there is a big company that pretty much employs everybody in the town. They invest in everything and she thinks that they may be corrupting the water supply, which is causing people to have rashes, possibly birth defects. It's killing crops and she's going to check that out, see if it's true. She wants it to be true, but the problem is that everybody in this town will defend this company because they have been the cause for so much growth in the town and people being employed and things like that. Now, what I didn't expect in this book was the amount of trigger warnings it contains. If you do have OCD, the main character in this has OCD, so you may find it a little bit triggering, some of the things that she does, like her compulsive patterns. Also, trigger warnings for sexual harassment, possibly sexual assault, animal abuse, child abuse, suicide and attempted suicide, bullying and cyberbullying, and I think that's it so far. So yeah, it's really, really heavy. Now I am kind of enjoying it. I'm on page 150, so I'm over halfway now, 155. So yeah, I'm over halfway and I am enjoying it. But something else that I didn't expect from this and something that I'm not liking about it is that it is full of a lot of criminal and political jargon that just goes straight over my head because I'm not a lawyer and I don't know what all of these words mean. But aside from that, I'm enjoying it. I should finish this tonight or probably tomorrow, I'm gonna say. I'll probably finish this tomorrow. So that's it for my update in the minute. I don't have any plans to tell you and I also don't have anything exciting that I've been doing to tell you. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my update. I'm going to go and do a little bit of editing and stuff. Just like random bits today. Although I did hear that there are going to be a small number of arcs for Dark Dawn. So I think I'm going to apply for that. Although I don't think I'll get it. Like I did get Muse of Nightmares. But I don't think I'm going to get Dark Dawn. So I might write a couple of emails. Because there's 1 or 2 other arcs that I want. And while I'm like working out all my stats and stuff to put in the emails, I might as well. But I don't know. I don't know. Hey guys, so I have finished Bonfire by Kristen Ritter. I gave it 3 stars. I did enjoy it and I did like a lot of the elements of this. Like I said, it has a whole bunch of trigger warnings and there are more since the list that I gave you. But I don't really want to tell you what they are because they are spoilers. I'm pretty sure that you will be able to seek out a review with a full list of trigger warnings if you do think you will be sensitive to any of the other issues in this. But I did like a lot of the elements in this. The problem that I had with it is that the premise of this book is that an environmental law agency are going to test the waters near this company because they think that they are contaminating them. And while a big part of the plot does follow that, it does turn out that that part of the plot is unnecessary and is kind of just used as an excuse for the characters, or the main character specifically, to go back to the town that she's from and start digging into this other mystery. So like about halfway through the book, the environmental law thing, like you get a resolution of it. It's like, oh well, this is the result of these tests we've done, now we'll go do this, but then it like completely drops off. And that's why I pretty much gave it a 3-star rating, because the thing that I wasn't enjoying about this when I checked in yesterday is that the legal jargon was going right over my head, so I was kind of annoyed when it wasn't really necessary and that wasn't the key mystery of this book. It's also a lot like the Roanoke Girls, that's what I forgot to say. If you like the Roanoke Girls, the main plot of this, like without all the environmental stuff, is very similar to the Roanoke Girls. So that's the aspect that I really like, because the Roanoke Girls is one of my favourite mystery thrillers. So now that I've finished that, I have a couple of options. Because rereadathon starts on Monday, I don't particularly want to get into something too dense, but I don't really have much of a choice following my TBR. So my option was either to read Clash of Kings and try and get as close to that 450 page mark that I want to be at by the end of the month, even though that isn't like a super huge priority because I do only have to read that book next month. Or I could start my third Bookopoly book, which is for the challenge to read an adult fantasy, and start the Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, and this is the one that I've gone with. And I know I'm going to kick myself, because if I read say 150 pages a day, I'm going to be on page around 230 by Sunday, and then I'm starting rereadathon on Monday. That's not right. I'm going to be on around page 380. But I'm going to start this one anyway. My friend Ryan has said that it's actually a pretty quick read because it's super absorbing, and the chapters are, like the majority of chapters are quite short, so it's like fast paced. So I don't know much about this apart from that it follows 3 women. At least some of them are queens, and there's dragons. I have read chapter 1 so far. Still can't give you any idea about the plot because it didn't really reveal much, but the dragons are in it from like the last page of chapter 1. So like straight in there we have dragons, which is good because normally you get your dragons at the end of a story, or everyone's obsessed with dragons and then they just turn up briefly. But we already have dragons, so I'm pretty excited. So yeah, it's a bit of a curse reading this because I'm not sure I'm going to want to put it down on Sunday night if I'm really into it, but I should really be starting this because it is kind of hefty. If I do feel I need a break from it, then rereadathon will be perfect for that, and then I can pick it up for the second half. 1 chapter into this, I have no idea what's going on. There are a lot of words there, a lot of names, a lot of places. I've put a question into the group chat for Rachel's Book Junkie Book Club so that people can tell me what they think I should be tabbing, like what's notable that I should be looking for, because I'm very new to annotating, so I'm like, oh, I don't want to tab all these things that are actually irrelevant, and then when I want to find the points that are actually relevant, I can't find them through all the shit that I've just stuck tabs in. So I'm gonna get started on this tonight. Like I said, just 1 chapter in, plenty to go, and I guess I'll come back with that tomorrow and see if I can give you a bit of a plot synopsis and let you know how I'm enjoying it. Hey guys, so I am only 38 pages into Priory of the Orange Tree so far, but I have to say it is hella dense. Still don't have like a full plot synopsis of you, but I just thought I'd pop in and let you know how I'm enjoying it, and I've lost one of my bloody tabs again. So I am enjoying it. It is very, very dense. To me at the moment it seems to be more dense than Game of Thrones is, and I feel that like that is because I don't have a sort of show to attach this to, so I can't particularly picture any characters or know who anybody is or have a real picture of the setting. But from what I can gather, there are 3 main characters so far. There is Ede, who is a maid. There is a girl in the east who has just been through some academy to become, I think it's called a Sky Guardian. And there is a queen who needs to produce a heir, otherwise her kingdom will flounder, because it is a queendom, or her queendom will flounder. Because it is a queendom, the power passes down through the daughters, and I think that the queen is going to be the one that's gay. So very interested so far, trying to wrap my head around it. I am tabbing, so those are what I have so far. I'm tabbing the Eastern history, the Western history, dragons, quotes, and the world building, and we've got a good amount of tabs going on so far. So as I said in my TBR, I am going to be one of the co-hosts for the Book Junkie Book Club for March, so I am going to be taking notes and tabbing this so that I can discuss it in the live show for that, which will be on Rachel Marie Book Junkie's channel, although I'm not sure when. So I'm gonna go now. I'm currently watching Umbrella Academy. My boyfriend just went to get food from the kitchen, so I did a little bit of a read and thought I'd update you while he did that. But no, he's back and doing this, which I guess means that it's time for me to watch Umbrella Academy.
Talked about being so free. I'd like to kiss you, desperately kiss you, like I did in 1993. Summers come, years pass by, but I can still hear singing.
Hey guys, so I'm currently around, I think I'm on page 206 of Priory of the Orange Tree, and I'm pretty confident that I can give you some sort of synopsis now. So this book is obviously a high fantasy, you know that, and it seems to follow 4 main voices. The voices are split across the east and the west of this world, which are 2 areas that are very exclusive. They don't like each other all that much, and that is because most of the west live in fear of dragons, or more specifically wyverns, while everybody in the east worships like dragons, not wyverns. They're 2 completely different things. So in the west we have Ede, who is a maid from the south of the west, and she has come to Ascalon to look out for the queen, Sabran, who is the queen of the queendom and has yet to have a daughter. So she's literally the last of her line. Now it is rumoured in this world that as long as her bloodline exists, the nameless one, who is like the big scary evil wyvern, cannot rise. So Ede is essentially here disguised as a maid or a lady in waiting to make sure that nobody tries to assassinate the queen, even though people are constantly trying to do that. She's kind of secretly undercover deflecting these attacks without anybody knowing. As well as that, in the west we have Loth, who is, I think probably he has the most interesting storyline to me so far, and he was best friends with the queen, but somebody has sent him away for being too close to her. They're trying to get the queen married and they think that Loth is putting them off, even though they're just friends. So he is sent away to somewhere further south in the west that has recently given up the religion of the west and started worshipping the wyverns. This is essentially a suicide mission, and he's pretty sure that he has been sent there to die, and I'm not really sure where his storyline's going, but I really like the atmosphere of that area that he's in at the minute. Over in the east we have Tane, who is our main female character from over there, and she is training to become a dragon rider, which every, I think, 50 years, they said, a handful of people from the Sea Guardian Academy will be able to compete for the chance to be a dragon rider. Over in the east as well, we have somebody who has been exiled from the west called Nicholas Roos, who turned up many years ago in the west in front of the queen and said that he could provide her with an immortality elixir so that she would not have to give birth to a child and she could just reign forever and be forever young. He obviously failed in this and he was exiled for it. The queen was very angry and was like, you know what, get out of my way, and he was exiled to this tiny island over in the east. Now the way that these stories interweave are very complex and I still haven't figured all of them out yet. I am starting to enjoy this book now, 200 pages in, But literally this morning I was thinking books like this are the reason why some people don't like high fantasy. It was giving me a headache trying to work out all of these places, all of these people. Some of the main characters, like Loth, has at least 2 names. He's referred to as his full name, he's referred to as Loth, so sometimes I'll think they're talking about somebody else when they're talking about Loth, but they've just used his full name. And many of the characters are like this with multiple names. There's also kings and queens, princesses, duchesses, marquesses, and it's all just a lot to wrap your head around. Through the first 150 pages, I'd say I was more trying to slog and wade through the density of this text than actually understand where the storyline is going. And still to this point in the book, I don't really know what the main storyline is going to be, what the main conflict is, because obviously we have the tales of the East and the West, and where I'm up to, they are not intersecting, aside from the fact that Nicholas is an exile from the West who is now in the East, and there's somebody who has gone from the West to the East to try and get the dragons to come to the West to defend the Queen. But at the minute, all these storylines are very much separate and are not really coming together. So now I'm up to the point where I'm finally starting to enjoy it a little bit. There's a little bit more intrigue. There's a sect called the Red Damsels, which sounds badass as hell, and I want to know more about them. And we're gonna see where this book goes, because the first bit was a struggle. As you can see, there are a lot of tabs in this. They're all like various colors. I don't use like emotion tabs. I tab on like world building and plot points and characters and things like that. So this isn't like, oh, this made me sad and things like that. I would also like to point out that despite what I said about how dense it is, I still found it compelling. It was very confusing and I spent a lot of time flicking back and forth, which is something that I think a lot of people have said. But like, I've read 200 pages in like 24 hours, which is a lot for me. Like 150 pages a day is pretty much my max, so I am working through it quite quickly. Something that I didn't expect from this book is that it is written a lot more like a classical fantasy than I expect it to be. It is very reminiscent to me of Game of Thrones, which I've literally just read, but Game of Thrones was actually easier for me to work through because I had the show as a reference. This is kind of like on that density level, but without you having like a visual show reference. So if you were comfortable reading Game of Thrones without having the show as a reference, you could go into this probably quite comfortably. So that's where I'm up to with this one. I am not reading anything else as of yet. However, I have just filmed my rereadathon TBR, and you guys will probably have noticed that on this channel I'm quite on time with my TBRs and my wrap-ups and my book hauls and everything. We have a schedule. We work to it. However, I'm so used to readathons starting on a Monday and ending on a Sunday that I forgot that the rereadathon starts on a Sunday and ends on a Saturday. So now I'm kind of pissed because my TBR is going up on the day the readathon starts instead of like it would normally have gone up on Thursday. But like, there's nothing wrong with that because it's still like the first day of the readathon. That's just my mind being like, oh my god, why were you so stupid? But everything's fine. Just, I will be putting this down sooner than I thought because I was planning on getting around halfway in that. I think I said that yesterday. And then rereadathon will be starting Monday. However, rereadathon starts tomorrow, so I'll be putting Priory of the Orange Tree down tonight, which I knew this would happen. I don't really want to step away from Priory. I feel like now that I've only just passed like what I assume is going to be like the thickest part of the world building, if I put this down for a week, I'm going to be so damn lost. So I think I'm going to try to read at least 1 or 2 chapters of Priory of the Orange Tree every day throughout rereadathon, just so that I can keep the thread. Because if I lose the thread, I am screwed and I don't have the brain energy to go through all that again and reread. Even though I've tabbed it, I haven't tabbed everything obviously because that would be absolutely insane, and yeah, I just don't have the mental capacity to go through that again and recap where I'm up to. So throughout rereadathon I think I'm going to be reading at least 1 or 2 chapters a day of Priory just to keep where I'm up to. So that's pretty much it for this update. I don't know what I'm doing for the rest of the night. I'm probably going to read a little bit more Priory before the rereadathon starts. And Ryan asked me to play Fortnite, so I'm probably gonna go do that because, you know, I'm trash for Xbox at the minute. I'm also trash for TV. I watched 2 episodes of Umbrella Academy last night, and yeah, I'm enjoying other forms of entertainment, and I'm also reading more than I usually do, so maybe that's working out well for me. How do I do all this stuff? Like, I feel like I accomplish, even though watching television isn't accomplishing things, to me doing entertainment things outside of reading is like accomplishing things. So yeah, don't know how I fit all this into the day, and trust me, I do sleep. Like, I sleep at least 6 hours a day, which doesn't seem a lot, but sometimes I sleep like 8. And now I'm just rambling, so I'm just gonna go. Hey guys, so it's Sunday and I'm pretty much in full vegetation mode. I've been to the gym today and I haven't actually done too much reading because I did this thing that I keep doing that I keep trying to stop doing, and that is I left my Sunday video until Sunday morning to edit. So the time that I normally spend reading while I'm drinking coffee, I'm editing and not getting a lot of reading done. So last night it was past midnight when I was getting into bed, and so I started my first book for rereadathon, which is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I've only read one chapter since then, which was this morning. So I'm only 29 pages into this, which isn't great, but I don't know, what can I say? I've had a reasonably busy day. Like I said, I did the editing, I've been to the gym. Fun fact of something that happened last night. We were streaming Fortnite on Twitch and we got a donation for $100, which is really weird because nobody watches our Twitch streams. And I'll link my boyfriend's Twitch channel, which is what we stream on, in the description box if you watch Fortnite streams. He does Spider-Man and stuff as well. But yeah, somebody gave us a donation and we were like, that's weird. So when we found out who it was, we went to his Twitch stream and he had like 100,000 followers or subscribers or whatever it is that you have on Twitch. You can tell I'm really educated on this. And we were like, okay, so this is really strange. So this morning my boyfriend had a ton of emails for followers on Twitch and we wondered where they came from, so we were like, oh, it's probably got something to do with this guy. So it turns out that he's like quite a big, like, I don't know who the biggest Fortnite YouTuber is, but he has 1.4 million subscribers, and yesterday he was making a video called I give random Fortnite streamers with no views $100 to make their day. And we were on there, and because nobody watches our streams, we just kind of behave like we normally do when we're together, which is strangely. So I feel exposed right now. I feel exposed, but it's really funny, and that video is now trending, like I think it's number 40 on YouTube Gaming. So a lot of people have been watching it, which means I'm getting like a ton of notifications through Xbox of people trying to add me and follow me and message me. And yeah, it's a lot, but it's really funny and I do appreciate it. The Fortnite streamer or Fortnite YouTuber that made the video is called, is it Obey Nix? I'll link his video down there as well if you want to watch it, because it is quite funny. He did an excellent job of editing it and it's funny guys. I appreciate it. So as for my reading, like I said, I'm up to that in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, page 29, and I'm on page 206 of Priory of the Orange Tree. I haven't read any more of that yet. I need to read some of that today, but I also want to watch some TV, and we're streaming again now that we have a ton of followers. We'll be streaming again tonight. So I guess that's the end of this week's vlog. The only thing I have to tell you is about my weekly goals. I think I'm going to cut it down from 3 because I am struggling. I didn't manage to walk the dog 3 times, but that is mainly because I live in the countryside. So the places that I walk the dog is like on dirt tracks and farm tracks, and it has rained all week. So I've only got out there a couple of times with her because it's just like, it's far too muddy. You can't even walk, it's so like slippy. And I didn't go to a spin class because I couldn't go to a spin class. I went to the gym again today and there were no spin classes on. It was really annoying. Like the time that I was getting to the gym, there was only a sprint class, which I don't feel like I should just run into a sprint class because that's intense. And then the next one was in like 4 hours. So I couldn't go to a spin class, although I could have like planned better in advance and made sure I was there on time for one. And plan every day did go well. I did like 5 days out of 7. So I think I'm gonna maybe cut it down to 2 next week because I'm not achieving all of them. And I feel like I'm spreading myself too thin on top of the other things that I'm trying to do. So that's pretty much it for this week's vlog. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. But that is it from me today, guys. Next week will be mostly my rereadathon vlog, but I do plan on reading a little bit of Priory here and there, so that will be there as well. And yeah, I'll catch you next week. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.